So if you've been following the breaking news that took place yesterday, DUI Venmo Matt Gaetz picked by Donald Trump to be his attorney general. Now, whether that's actually going to happen or not, we can discuss it. But I think it's very important to note, what a coincidence, huh? That the House Ethics Committee was just 2 days out from voting on the release of very highly damaging materials in a report about the probe into Matt Gaetz. What do we believe was in that probe? Well, the committee had been probing allegations that Gaetz may have engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship with, and sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct. Chairman Michael Gaetz said the ethics probe into Gaetz would end if he resigned. Interesting. He just resigned days before this probe was going to be released. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why, I think. Because this report, as I just mentioned, was going to be very damning. And how do we know this? Republicans, even people that work with him, explained that he showed nude pictures of women that he had slept with, and drug use that he bragged about on the House floor in private conversations with other members of Congress. We know that for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be your next attorney general. So Senator Mullen, who I literally have zero respect for, and this is just another example of it, but Mullen was somewhat truthful about Matt Gaetz a while back when they got into it. Have a listen to what he said about your possible next attorney general.
After he was accused of sleeping with an underage girl. And there's a reason why no one in the conference came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night. This is obviously before you got married.
There you have Senator Mullen talking about the possible next attorney general, and I believe Mullen was being honest about it, showing nude pictures of women on the House floor, bragging about the women he has sex with, bragging about the fact about he would take, energy drinks and a bunch of erectile dysfunction medications so that he can, quote, go all night. And this is the person that Donald Trump has chosen to be the next attorney general. Then all of a sudden, after Donald Trump makes the decision, Mullen does what so many far-right MAGA Republicans do: curl into a pretzel, defend Donald Trump when they all know this was a horrible pick. Listen to what Mullen said with Jake Tapper on CNN yesterday.
Zort, are you going to vote for Matt Gaetz?
Matt Gaetz and I, there's no question that we've had our differences. They've been very public about it. I completely trust President Trump's decision-making on this one. But at the same time, he's got to come to Congress and sell himself. There's a lot of, or to the Senate and sell himself. There's a lot of questions that are going to be out there. He's got to answer those questions. And hopefully he's able to answer the questions right. And if he can, then we'll go through the confirmation process.
Listen to this coward clown. Quote, I trust Donald Trump's decision-making, when just months ago he talked about Matt Gaetz showing naked pictures of women that he had allegedly had sex with on the House floor, bragged about erectile dysfunction medication that he would take along with Red Bull, and did talk about drug use as well, according to other members. But yet, Mullen is able to now, ironically, push all that information to the side because Donald Trump was elected as president once again, and says, I trust Donald Trump's decision-making. These MAGA Republicans have no backbone, and they are despicable. Meanwhile, there are a few that are speaking out on the right about this horrific decision, including Murkowski. Have a listen to what she had to say.
I don't think it's a serious nomination for the Attorney General. We need to have a serious Attorney General, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to consider somebody that is serious. This one was not on my bingo card.
It doesn't sound like Ms. Murkowski is going to be voting for Matt Gaetz. Then we also have Senator Collins, who had this to say about the choice.
I was shocked that he has been nominated. If the nomination proceeds, I'm sure that there will be an extensive background check by the FBI. and public hearings and a lot of questions asked.
Now, I agree with Senator Collins and Markowski. I do agree with them. And I agree with the first statement by Senator Mullen. But I don't put anything past these Republicans. They'll say something one day, and then if they feel like they're being threatened by Donald Trump or they could lose power, you name it, all of a sudden they change their mind. Or, like Donald Trump's vice presidential nominee, who will now be the vice president of the United States, who once said about the incoming president, he is the next American Adolf Hitler. But then all of a sudden, when they can remain in power or maybe get a high, powerful position like vice president, they all of a sudden switch their mind and Donald Trump can do no wrong, because many of these Republicans, again, have no backbone, and they are all cowards, quite frankly. Now, Swalwell has done this show before, and he's always outspoken, and I appreciate his honesty. And Swalwell was asked yesterday on CNN what was his first reaction when he heard that Matt Gaetz was the appointed Attorney General by Donald Trump.
Here we are. What do you think?
Well, to the president, I say, no, seriously, who is your pick for Attorney General? Because this pick is a middle finger to Democrats and sane Republicans. And it's not being panned only by Democrats, Aaron. My Republican friends in the House are also clowning this pick. They're saying it publicly, as you just read off, but they're also saying it privately. And that was the mood earlier at the Capitol. And so, Donald Trump, not known for having a sense of humor, credit to you, you landed a good joke on the country. But this is a position, considering what it oversees: counterterrorism, money laundering, public corruption, child trafficking. It's worthy of being taken seriously. And also should tell you everything about Matt Gaetz, that he would allow himself to be used by the president to try and own the libs with something that we know is never going to pass.
I got to tell you something. I hope that Representative Swalwell is right. I'm not ready to go there yet. You would like to think that there will be some Republicans out there with a moral compass, with some dignity, with some backbone. But I'm not sure I'm willing to go that far, because, again, these are the same people who voted for Donald Trump. So I have no faith, quite frankly, in anybody that voted for Donald Trump. Anybody that is a ranking member, whether it be in Congress, a senator, heck, an assemblyman or an assemblywoman. If you voted for Donald Trump, I have no faith in you that you will vote for doing the right thing. So again, we'll have to wait and see how this takes place, but it is a middle finger to the country. It's not just Democrats. It's a middle finger to anybody who believes in the rule of law. It's a middle finger to anybody who would take a job like this seriously as the Attorney General. This is a guy who worked in law for maybe 15 minutes, a guy who is the definition of white privilege. Why do I say that? Well, he had accomplished nothing in his life. His father bought him into a university. His father got him out of God knows how many DUIs. This is a guy who is an adulterer. He's a womanizer. He's misogynist in nature. Yes, I do believe he had sex with an underage girl. This is a man who has never passed one bill in office. He's a noisemaker. He's not a lawmaker. I don't think he's extremely intelligent, like Mike Johnson said the opposite to that yesterday, like Matt Gaetz is this really smart guy. Yeah, it's really smart on the House floor to show some of the people that you work with nude pictures of women that you claimed you'd had sex with. Yeah, very intelligent people do that. God, Mike Johnson is such a moron. Now, I would like to think that he will not be our next Attorney General, but you never know. And we are only, a week into this thing. Who knows who Donald Trump picks next? Laura Loomer as his press secretary? Marjorie Taylor Greene? Who's next? Roger Stone? So while all this stuff is going on, and it's amazing to me that Matt Gaetz would be even considered for a job like this. It's comedy.